Hello, Radio Paranormal fans. I'm just jumping up because we don't have an intro because StreamYard has changed everything and I had no freaking clue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sing a little intro for you because, you know, it is what it is. So Radio Paranormal, Radio Paranormal. This is the intro as best I got. Radio Paranormal. And let's welcome Jennifer. Everything is changed. I don't know like what has happened. So no intro today because I'm just a horrible producer.
It's all good. I hope you have the exit at least so we can have.
We're gonna have something. I'm gonna work on it. So, how's everything going down there in New Orleans during Mardi Gras?
Oh shit! We're all getting fat off a king cake.
Did you eat the baby?
Don't eat the baby. You're choking.
You're not supposed to eat the baby.
No.
See, I'm from South Carolina, and I always thought whoever ate the baby out of the king cake became the king. And so this whole time, my old Southern ass has been up here going, I gotta eat a baby to become a king.
Yeah, maybe
that kind of sounds like adrenochrome. We can get into that later.
No, we did Fan Fest last weekend. I tried to broadcast live. Someone said my shirt was on backwards. It was just because I was broadcasting live and the camera flips the words to a mirrored image. So I found that was funny. But cool thing happened. So I bought Chris, if you ever watch Christmas Vacation, Chevy Chase has got that Blackhawks jersey he wears, right?
Yep.
And I bought Chris one of those for Christmas several years ago, but he found another one that is a Cousin Eddie theme. And on the front, it says Chicago Shitters, and then it's the number 2 and Eddie. Well, guess who was at Fan Expo? Randy Quaid.
Of course.
So guess who got his jersey signed by Randy Quaid?
Oh, I believe that'd be Chris. Shitters full, Chris.
He had him right. Shitters full and Randy Quaid. They had never seen the jersey. They're like, where did you get that? We've never seen it. I'm like, please make him take it down. Please make it take it down. We have one of one. We're so excited.
Right.
And then he got it authenticated and stuff. So we're going to get it all framed and stuff. But he was so excited. But he was a really cool guy. We sat and talked to him for a while. And then the guy from Reno 9/11 kept coming by our booth. He might come in a ghost hunt. He was pretty cool too. So we had a good time. Busy though. What's new with you?
Other than trying to figure out all this new crap behind the scenes to make it look pretty, I'm not doing very well. But I'll tell you what, even though there's technical difficulties, our guest tonight has probably dealt with a bunch of technical difficulties before.
Even ones that were a little paranormal.
Quite paranormal. So you know what? I think we should let's push the Paracon real quick and then let's bring him on.
Yeah. So New Orleans Paracon, I'm going to put the link up right now. July 31st through August 2nd. Putting the link up right now in the comments. At the Astrakhan Plaza in the French Quarter, the most haunted neighborhood in the entire country. Prove me wrong, folks. Prove me wrong. Tickets are at neworleansparacon.com. Packages. Oh, dude, these packages are amazing.
They are pretty good.
People always say, oh, these paracons and stuff, they're so expensive. Packages per couple start at $300. $300. And that's the
hotel and everything, right?
That is a hotel for 2 days, 3 nights, all of your GA classes and admission. And our guests panel is included in that price. Even. So you don't even have to pay to see this guy.
Well, isn't there like a ton of general admission classes that you guys are doing? And
and that maybe somebody like you is on. Yes. We're going to do a
voodoo there. I keep forgetting I'm on a panel.
I know, Art. You do. You do.
I am nobody compared to the talent that is and knowledge that is on this Paracon. So I can't wait to learn from the greats. So
It's crazy. We've got a voodoo panel, a vampire panel, Native American year panel. We've got a pet psychic that's going to teach pet communication so we can be better pet parents. The whole thing is educational focused. While you can get your little snapshots with your celebs and stuff like that, it's more centered on being a better investigator, learning your do's and don'ts, learning how to use your abilities. Do you have abilities? Learning about different things that when you're investigating can make you a better investigator. Like when I encounter a Native American spirit, what do I do? How do I identify it? Same with voodoo. Same with demons. And segue into our guest. What if I come in contact with a haunted object? How do I?
That segue?
Yeah. Look at me go. Yeah. What do I do? What's attached to it? What are the right questions to ask? So all of that is going to be talked about and learned at the Paracon as well. So vendor booths available too.
And there's some VIP stuff that's available. You get a night with Patty Negri and Sam Baltrusis.
A weekend.
You get a weekend with them. You get to spend time with John Zaffis as well, who's one of my heroes. I fanboyed first time I interviewed him, and I know he's listening, but first time I interviewed him,
I'm dialing back the fangirl right now because I've watched him since I started watching these shows. So yeah.
So shall we bring on our guest?
Yeah, who's our guest again? Who's our guest?
Some guy named John Zaffis. Like he's a godfather of the paranormal. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah, I think I've seen him on like a show or something. I don't know.
He might have been on a show or two, and he may be the greatest gift to the paranormal that I know of. So let's pick his brain. Let's bring him on. John Zaffis.
Hey guys, how you doing?
What happened? Hey, how are you, sir? Ah! Okay.
Are you staying inside to not get snowed on?
Yes, absolutely. Unfortunately, I got to walk from the back door of the house across the deck over to go into the barn, but that's okay.
That's worse. Do you build snowmen on the way?
A few.
Yeah.
So if I remember correctly from one of your books, your office is directly over some haunted objects, right?
Correct. Yes.
So I want to ask you, what type of disruptions or anything comes from the haunted objects? Like, what does anything happen in your office? Is it sealed? I'm curious.
No, that's okay. I find more disruptions from people than I do the items. But I don't have too much activity that really occurs. The office is sealed. There's a binding. There's all kinds of things that, have been done with the office. I don't have anything that is really significant on a negative level as far as anything being haunted within the office. I keep all that on the lower level of the barn. My office is upstairs, and there's a room next to it that was a classroom that unfortunately has turned into storage. So, I mean, it's gotten kind of crazy. I mean, people come in, they have all kinds of activity. They have things they pick up on, they get EVPs and things when they stop over. Because a lot of times people I know or anything, if they're, going through Connecticut, especially along the coast up 95 or back or forth, and a lot of times they'll just stop by, come over and just check out the museum. I don't have any problem with that when I'm home to let people in because I don't have it open to the public. So,
okay.
One of these days, I want to get up there and look around. I would love to do that because I have questions. I can't remember the book. I've got it sitting next to me, but you were talking about haunted items. Items that haunt me, something. I can't remember the title. But you were talking about
haunted by the things you love.
That's it. That was it. It's almost like you know who wrote it. That's amazing.
That would be my Rosemary Ellen Guiley.
And you mentioned salt a good bit.
Yes.
So why do you think salt is such a good cleanser? Because I was reading about a mirror that you had gotten, and you set it outside for like a week, and you put salt on it to oh, do you remember which one I'm talking about?
If it's the one I remember, it's from up north, I believe up in Maine. It's a huge one.
Yep.
It survived a fire, and they had it in a couple of other buildings, and it was causing a lot of problems. So they had gifted it to the museum. It's a very, very large one. The one I think you're talking about, Brian Cano and I are carrying it, and we're putting it into the tiny barn where I let things sit, and I'll do,
Yep.
prayers
Yep,
and do
it.
different things over it. Now, salt has been used in rituals for going all the way back, believe it or not. Predates a lot of different things. One of the interesting things with salt is it has a very, very high iron content to it. So therefore, we think that's what helps to neutralize some of the energy. Then the one we most normally use will be sea salt.
Okay.
And again, it gets blessed and everything like that. And a lot of people don't even know this, that salt is used in holy water. They actually put it in there. Yeah, a lot of again in the beginning, way back years ago, I didn't know it either till I watched a bishop doing it with them, and he's putting salt in it, and I go, "What are you doing?" He goes, "John, we always put salt in holy water."
do.
I go, "Okay."
Sure, I mean it makes sense.
Yeah.
We work with the chief exorcist priest here on referred a few cases to them, and he is because of the ick we stepped in, we've seen him make some holy water for us, and I was like, "Salt, okay, all right." I've always wondered. So there's different kinds of sea salt. Does it matter?
I use the white sea salt. I have a couple of friends with different practices that like to use the black salt. There is with that, they think that's very powerful, very strong, which again, that it's a belief in. Again, do I think that it works? Absolutely. Again, I think it has a lot more to do with the minerals that are within our salt that help to neutralize different things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I view it and the way I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, could there be another explanation? Not 100% sure, but that's one of them that I usually go by because that's what has been explained to me from a scientific perspective. The iron content of it is what helps to neutralize things. And actually, there's been a few experiments done from friends of mine that use salt in trying to neutralize different things. So again, and they saw a difference. So just like with anything within our field, we have our theories, we have our belief systems, but again, and that's what we go by. So that's what I think the biggest thing is with the salt.
And a lot of practices use salt to cleanse as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you go all the way back, what was salt mainly used for? Preserving meats and protecting your meat. So I wonder if there's a basis in the protection from way back when people would cure their meats with it. I don't know. That just popped in my head. Maybe not. But.
Yeah. Well, and then you look at minerals in different parts of the country. If you look at the soil makeup of some of those places, they do tend to coincide with activity because it seems to hold residual energy based on the crystals and minerals as well.
Yeah.
So it could kind of goes all the ways, I guess, for sure.
Absolutely.
So, I guess I need to ask a question that everybody asks you, but I'm going to ask it different. Because I was going to say what got you in the paranormal, but you were sort of born into it, I believe.
Well, yeah, but even though I was born into it, I really didn't believe in it. It wasn't until I was 16 years old, and I had an experience at the foot of my bed. There was this black shadow form. It stood there, shook its head back and forth. I freaked out, ran down, told my mom about it, And she said, did it say or do anything? I said, no, he just shook his head back and forth. And she goes, well, Johnny, that, was my father, your grandfather. And he was very quiet, never used to say too much, but he would always shake his head back and forth. Then a couple of days after that, my grandmother passed away, and she lived with us. So that gave me, a substance to work with on how so many people claim deceased loved ones come back to help to help them to cross over. Mm-hmm. So I went up to go tell my uncle about it. I was telling him the whole story, and he goes, "You mean you never believed in any of this?" I said, "No, I thought you were just doing it to make a quick buck." Because I never had an experience, never had anything occur until that time framing. So that's what really changed it and set me off to getting involved with it.
So how have you set yourself apart with how you do things from how you learned how to do things? How have you perfected, things on your own that you've come up with that maybe you didn't get from your aunt and uncle, or
I don't know. I guess the majority of the stuff what my whole thing is to, when I get involved with something, is to try to figure out what the heck's happening, why it's happening. Does the individual have an issue, or the piece of property or the item? Mm-hmm. And do what I can to try to figure all of it out. Now, I think an important element for any of us in this work is to keep an open mind. Here again, back when I got involved with all this stuff, you start talking about a poltergeist case, right away we thought it was devils and demons. Right. Where today I have a totally different understanding of poltergeist cases. It's psychic kinetic energy, and it's to build up around kids going through puberty. Yep. Once it's over with, and again, a lot of things will just stop, and that's the end of it. And it has absolutely nothing to do with devils or demons. Right. So again, as long as you keep an open mind with our field, and you're able to still look past a lot of the different things. After 53 years, there's ways and views that I've changed on looking at things. Because if we don't do it that way, we're never going to advance. Never. Right. So that that's one thing I think I walk away from, and look at it and try and understand why it's occurring and why it's happening.
So I've watched a lot of investigators change over the years in that, and even for me personally, it's happened being around all of this intense energy, especially in the French Quarter in New Orleans, and even doing this, your abilities pop out. Has that ever, I mean, you said you saw your relative, was that just you were seeing them, or do you think over time, we'll call it instincts or whatever word you want to use, have you found that you developed some of those clairs abilities?
I look more at it. I basically are summing it up how I look at a lot of this, because people say that to me all the time. You're very gifted. You're very psychic. I don't really think I am. I mean, if you asked me to sit down and read you, I'd bust out laughing.
Me too.
But I do, sometimes I'll pick up stuff around people or different things like that. I mean, can I walk into a place today and say, okay, this place is creepy. I feel something to it. I think something went on or something. Yeah. And again, a lot of times when interviewing people and saying and reacting to certain things, they'll go, oh, how did you know that? I go, no, it's just things that, after years, you just automatically asked it that way because, again, it might be tying in with something or being able to, resolve something. That's the most important part of it. Now, I believe in the collective energy from a ground zero point. And with these guys being down in New Orleans, man, that's a hot spot. I don't care what freaking anybody tells me. I've been down there several times over the years, and you'll laugh at this one little story. I was walking down with a group of people down, and we were walking, and one of the voodoo people came out of the store screaming and yelling and chanting, and I just stood there and I went, what is freaking going on? And then another person said to me, well, they're picking up something around you. I said, well, I think they just scared it away because I know I just got scared. If there was something around, hopefully they did get rid of it. But, with that, I got a wicked sense of humor. I'm always joking around and horsing around.
Fantastic.
Yeah, no, I because a lot of people always say, I always thought you were such a serious person. I go, no, that's TV land. That's if I'm working on a case or I need to be serious, then I'm serious. But again, otherwise I'm always joking and especially with all my friends and everything. When I'm with you and we're hanging around, I'll pick on you, I'll tease you, and that's my nature. And again, it gets you through a lot of things, and I think being lighthearted helps to break and discourage a lot of negativity.
Yep, exactly.
I do believe very strongly in that. So,
sorry, go ahead, John.
No, go ahead, bud.
I was going to say, that's one of my tools in my toolbox is humor. When I'm investigating, I tell stupid dad jokes. I do, whatever, and I found that I get better interaction if I come and just joke and talk to them like I'm talking to you. But humor, I see people that like to piss the spirits off to get them to react.
Yeah,
not provoking.
I couldn't think of the name.
Yeah, a lot of people definitely are very entrenched in that. My philosophy is, do I provoke? Yes, but depends on what the circumstances are to see if something's going to happen. I believe very firmly, if you got any type of energy and there's something going on or happening, you're going to get some type of reactions. You're going to have something that's going to occur that could give it to you. The best way I describe it is naturally when you're investigating. I mean, it's like all of us. I mean, I love going into the old prisons, the old forts, and all these things because you get a lot of activity in them without, anybody doing anything. So they're super, super, cool to investigate and do and have fun with. I mean, I think one of the craziest things is, especially today, is that a lot of times when I'm out lecturing at universities or colleges, kids want the lights to go on and off. They want the furniture to flip over. And I go, no. This is not a TV show. I said, because if that all starts happening, there better be a film crew somewhere around. But,
exactly. Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's how rare it is for those things to happen.
Yeah.
So I think, again, with a lot of it, probably the way I look at things, especially if you're in an environment and you're getting a few EVPs, you're getting some type of reactions, you're getting things, that's very successful. And people go, well, geez, that wasn't really all that much. And I'll go, yes, it is. I mean, a lot of us will go to places and do things and have nothing happen.
Yeah.
And on the flip of it, I am very impressed when things like that occur and happen. Because, again, that's telling me we got something going on. There's something happen, quote unquote, on a supernatural level. So I'm very fascinated with everything. And a lot of times I get myself in more trouble than I do anything else because, if there's something going on or something that's.
This episode is brought to you by Barracks Media, where your online presence becomes a real asset. Barracks Media builds professional websites for podcasters, creators, authors, and small businesses who are ready to be taken seriously. Not templates, not cookie-cutter pages, real platforms built to grow with you. Whether you're launching a podcast, promoting a book, or building a brand, your website should work as hard as you do. We design sites that convert listeners into followers and followers into clients. Visit barracksmedia.com and turn your idea into a home on the web.
So much today, but, many years ago, with different rituals and things like that, oh, that's cool. I want to know about it. So, I'll go, I like to observe and watch things and see how things are done and how they're handled. I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons I am accepted in so many different practices out there. I'm not interested in, going after somebody for practicing different things. That's not my job. That's not what I'm about.
Right.
I want to know about it. I want to know how it works. I want to watch those rituals and see the different things, as they're being practiced and performed. I'm very intrigued with that stuff. Very. So again, I always tell everybody that that's an important element with our work. Be very analytical, and that's being open to everything.
Mm-hmm.
So doesn't mean you have to practice something if you're uncomfortable. No, that's up to you what you do and how you handle it.
Mm-hmm.
So again, when somebody says, "Oh, I got myself in big trouble," I'll go, "Well, what did you do?" They go, "Well, I went and watched this and did that." And I go, "Well, did you say or do anything?" They went, "No," but now I'm good. No, you're not. You were just observing. You didn't do anything. Thus, how do you feel? You just put yourself in, any type of situation where you're going to have something with you just from observing or watching or learning something to understand something. I have no issue with that whatsoever.
And this is the kind of stuff I'm sure you're going to talk about at the Paracon. And this was the reason that Chris and I started it, is we do public ghost hunts 6 nights a week. We use humor too. I mean, my God, how bored would they get from us if you kept saying, "How did you die?" We play cards and things, but we say, don't provoke. What would happen if you walked into a bar and you started screaming and cussing at someone? It's the people.
You should get some activity.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
Maybe not stuff you want, right?
Yes, but again, too, that's what, again, like we were saying earlier, when you go in to do an investigation or something like that, a lot of people are very, focused in just on the equipment and getting everything set up. And, a lot of times if you're doing everything very natural, setting things up and, some of the best EVPs we've ever captured have been when people were speaking or they'll be asking a question and then, and I'll go, I can't believe you captured that. And they're going, yeah, but we can't use that. And I go, why? It's a fantastic EVP. Well, they go, well, John, someone's talking before it and someone's talking after it. I said, you just answered it right there for yourself.
Okay.
It's before and after. Thus, that was right in the middle. So you captured something that was significant. And they'll go, oh, yeah. So, but, again, it's learning a lot of those different things that occur and happen. And I'll tell you what, I used to get so freaking pissed at my uncle because a lot of times when I would experience something or something would happen, I get all riled up and everything and get all shook about it. And he would start laughing. And I used to why are you laughing at me? It used to drive me crazy and everything. Now I freaking do that. I'm with people and they're experiencing something for the first time. I'll start laughing or something. The people go, Johnny, it's not funny. And I'll go, yeah, but you're missing the point of it. You just had a phenomenal experience. You're experiencing it, not me. So therefore, to me, that's one of the greatest things to witness and see is somebody else having the experiences.
Of course.
So we got here Haunted Nights Paranormal saying he was attending Wichita State University in Wichita, Kansas. He said he met you, John, there. Did a campus ghost hunt after your lecture. He said he really enjoyed you doing the college tours, and he said thank you for the experience. Well,
I love doing campuses. I always have a blast because, and a lot of times student activities and everything will bust out laughing at me. They go, Johnny, you're just like the freaking kids. You jump right in. You don't care. All of you are, getting involved with everything. You're cutting up with the kids and, we're doing, that's the best part of it. I enjoy that because, people are, can be getting something out of it or having an experience with it. So I still do campuses and colleges. I don't book, like I used to because being out on the road after a while, that can really pull you down. Right. So again, I'm still doing them. Wichita, actually, I smiled when you brought that up. I think recently, over the past couple of years, they've been trying to get me to come back to do a lecture. I got to get that booked. I got to get out there.
Yeah. Also, for those of you that are watching, if you have any questions for John, myself, or Jennifer, or just anything, please post them in the comments and we'll ask them. So I would be remiss if I didn't ask this question from my wife.
Uh-oh.
Because, yeah.
Uh-oh.
So, and it's kind of a serious one, and I'm glad that she asked this. So she ghost hunts with me. She calls herself a baby medium. She's just learning and whatever. But she's had to step away because of autoimmune disorders and a lot of health issues.
Okay.
Because she just feels like she's vulnerable, a little bit more vulnerable and just
understandable. Yep.
Timid. So her question is there anything that would cause you to step away or step back, or have you had to take time away from paranormal?
Oh, yeah. Over the course of the past 53 years, there's been times where, I've taken time off. I don't last long. That's my biggest problem. I'll say, I'm done. I can't deal with any of this no more. So, and, I'll take that step back and it'll be like, what am I doing? The phone will ring or, something will come up and I'll, get back involved with something or doing something. I don't really do it too much now because it's more at that point. I mean, let's face it, guys, I'm at the tail end here, and, I pick and choose a lot of the things I like to do or get involved with. And if I'm involved in a situation where I'm uncomfortable or something, I'm going to be more vocal now than I ever was. Not that I'm being ornery or being mean or anything, but let's face it, guys, we know a lot of people do some dumb shit out there. And if you're doing something dumb, I'm going to say something. I don't care. I shouldn't say I don't care because I do care or I wouldn't say anything, right?
So yeah, right.
But again, I look where before I would be like, I don't want to get involved with that. I don't know. I'll go, dude, what are you doing that for? What's wrong with you, man? Think about what you're doing. And, even if it's, I just will do that. And then they'll go, well, what do you mean? And I'll explain it. And I'll go, you're going to mess yourself up. Bringing me to the point where that tells me at least your wife is thinking. If there are issues, especially medical issues, you got to be careful. You got to be guarded. Because we deal with so many different things from a perspective, quote unquote, energy. Everything's energy.
Right.
And people do have that ability to know, the fact of it when they're dealing with that and they know a person has an ailment or something and somebody wants to start getting revenge or do something. Is it a possibility that something could be sent towards that individual? Absolutely. I 100% believe that does occur and can happen. So, again, I wouldn't say totally pull away from it, but I would be definitely guarded. And it sounds like, to be honest with you, she has sense with that. She has sensed what she's getting involved with. And if she doesn't feel comfortable, just pull way back from it.
Well, thank you for that. I know that'll mean a lot to her because, well, if anybody knows, you've been doing it long enough, and your advice is like gold to those of us that have grown up watching you, and so thank you for that. I know she really appreciates it. I do have a question. So your technique when you go into a case. Is there a list that you go down? Let's say let's check mental health. Let's check
everything. Yes.
Do you have it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Pardon me?
Yeah. Now, so you have it written out.
Yes. Within my group, the president group. Yeah. Because there's a lot of times, where if there's something I can't go or anything, it's like programmed. I already know what needs to be asked, what to look, what to look for and stuff like that. And a lot of times I find it where it's easier to do it from that perspective because a lot of times things could lead into things to help that person be a little bit more comfortable. Because let's face it, when you're being interviewed or anything like that, just like if we go for a job or anything, we're a nervous wreck. Well, these poor people a lot of times are a nervous wreck too when you start asking them a lot of questions, I mean, when you there's one of my nieces, Lord, you get involved with a lot of that, and you try to understand it. It's not clear cut because a lot of times you could years back, especially, you would get done doing your interview and everything, and you could be throwing out a question or something, and the person will look at you. Oh yeah, we did this big seance. Everybody got thrown all over the room, and this one guy. I go. You didn't think that was something important to tell, but a lot of times people don't think, and we all know that. I'm like that. I get very intimidated very easily, and I shut down, and most people do. So I find it to try and do it very relaxing because that could help you. And like I just said, now with questions like that, I'll turn and look at the person and I'll go, you don't think that was something we needed to know? And they'll look at me and they'll go, why didn't you think of it that way? And I'll start laughing, because again, all right, I'm grateful they just shared that because that makes our job a little bit easier trying to diagram what the heck we're getting ourselves involved with. So again, that's an important element when investigating. People that are new to it, going by a list. A lot of people have online forms they fill out and a lot of different things, to evaluate. To me, one of the most key things is interacting. I need that. I have to have that with people to get a feel for what we could be getting involved with.
Got it.
Okay? Because let's face it, guys, a lot of times, people are ticky-tock. I don't want to be wasting everybody's time, their money, and energy getting involved with something I think that isn't paranormal. Right. So, again, a lot of key things, you could just ask that's going to answer so many things before you even jump into something. And another thing I don't believe in doing too, and a lot of people still do it, is that they want to keep going back to these homes 10, 15, 20 different times. I'm not in agreement with that anymore. I used to be, do you get something? Do you get something? And sometimes I think that could actually make things worse if it's multiple times. Unless you're getting a tremendous amount of activity and, you're getting a lot off of it and it's helping the person, okay, then I'll take a step back and look at that a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm. And maybe that investigator wasn't the personality to deal with that spirit either, if they're not getting anything. It could be someone else.
It could very well be.
I do want to say real quick, are you sure you want to switch to YouTube so you can see us on your TV? By
the way, say hi to Ron. Hi. Both of them. Those two are
you sure you want to see us in 4K? I mean,
Lourdes, I love her. So
how could you not love the both of them? They're like family with me.
I cannot wait to meet them. I have not had the pleasure yet. So
those two are the first phone call we made when we said, I have a dream of a Paracon. What do we do? Those are the first two people we spoke to. Seriously, they really were. Because they're just amazing people. So something that we run into a lot on our hunts with the public, even people calling in with private cases, is the belief that demons occur a lot more often than what they do. So what's your opinion on why everyone jumps to demonic and maybe forgets that bad humans die too?
All right. It's a difficult thing. Not so much today, but I mean, we were all I was brought up Roman Catholic. Okay.
Yeah.
Years ago, everything was devils and demons. If something happened, a person got scratched, a person got pushed, lights are flickering, a lot of these things, we would write off that we were taught. Well, we were taught not to believe in ghosts or communicate with ghosts, right. But again, you know, getting involved with the work behind the scenes and realizing how much spiritual people and priests and all these people are involved with all this stuff, but they won't talk about it. But that's another whole show.
True.
Anyhow,
Oh, it is. That's so true.
oh yeah, I mean, again, I've been involved with that where, again, just being at not a convention, but a weekend at a monastery, and there's all these priests, all different levels and everything that are involved with all this stuff. And I'm like, holy shit. They're just all talking about this. Yeah. And it's like, but they won't do that outside of the confinement of all that stuff. But again, I have to look at that differently now too, because we're in a different world now today too. A lot of these spiritual people, not just priests, all of them, they jump in and they get involved with something. They got to be careful of litigation behind the scenes now with people.
Oh, wow.
People aren't, it's a different world now. So, again, everybody has to be guarded and careful. Where the hell was I going with all that anyway?
I don't know, but I was riding passenger seat with you the whole time, brother.
No, so I think you were going to that. I think there's a surprise that we both grew up Roman Catholic, right? I did too. So there's when you get behind the scenes in that and you see what they learn versus what they say, it's like, holy crap, you really do believe in this. But I mean, the message to the general public is don't worry about that.
That's what
be a good human in your life. And
that's what we're talking about, because everybody's saying everything's demonic and evil. That's another way, again, over the course of years, I look at a lot of things differently today. Mm-hmm. I honestly do. Somebody gets pushed, they get scratched, lights are going on and off, and different things are occurring. Doesn't mean it's something evil. If a person was mean and nasty in life, they're going to be like that in spirit form.
That's what I say all the time. If they were an asshole in life, they're an asshole in death.
Yeah,
absolutely. And again, it's something that I try to explain to a lot of people. Again, but you have to remember when you deal with people that are very, very religious, and I respect that, that is what they feel they're dealing with. Mm-hmm. But it makes it difficult when a lot of us get involved with stuff and we know it's not something demonic, to try and get a person to understand certain things. Mm-hmm. That's why I say a lot of times you have to take that step back and you have to look at the big picture, because I'm not interested in pulling people away, from their Catholicism or, Judaism or whatever they practice. They want to follow by that. That's perfectly fine. Again, it's done on a positive. So again, that's the way I look at it. But no, I agree. I think a lot of things that I see people classifying as being demonic or evil, I do not feel that it's that. I really, a lot of times I don't. I mean, I don't want to ever, when people tell me, oh, no, I saw it on a TV show. And, I cringe, because people don't realize that's entertainment.
Yep.
And you don't. I mean, I was even in shell shock, years ago on, understanding what you have to do. You can keep doing things and setting things up, because let's face facts, especially today. Somebody's sitting watching 1 or 2 or 3 episodes of a TV show. There's no EVPs, nothing's happening, everything's quiet. What are we going to do? We're going to post, don't watch it, it's boring. Nothing's happening. They're boring. They're terrible. Mm-hmm. And they could just be doing their job and still, again, so it's a double-edged sword with the entertainment field within our field. Our work. We all know anybody that's in the trenches, like we all are, doing investigations and everything. That's not TV land at all. Not at all.
Yeah. So, okay, the flip side of that, and because for our team, and honestly, John, it's because of where we live, right? We live in the Quarter. We live in the French Quarter. Lived here for almost 15 years. So we've dealt with a lot of different things. So we've seen the demonic. Mm-hmm. and I know you've probably seen some too. Have you seen the other side? Have you encountered something, an object, an energy that's
Ooh,
been
good question.
more towards angelic? And I ask you this because we're actually on a case we brought to the church to say, is this angel? And they're raising an eyebrow thinking that it might be. So have you, on the flip side, found or encountered something that was more on the, that's the balance of nature, right? Good and evil, right? Have you encountered something that was more on that good side? Even
You
if it's
mean
like
the good side, meaning angelic?
Yep.
yeah,
type?
and yeah,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's so many encounters where I believe that angels have intervened with different things, and there's been different experiences that have occurred, because angels aren't these things running around with halos on, the big fluffy wings.
Right.
People think that that's how they are. That's not what angels really are. They're huge. They're the brilliance of light that comes off of them. And what they actually, they're not going to be coming down and helping you out, going kumbaya and everything like that. They come in, kick ass, and leave.
Right.
That's exactly what the higher, the angels do. Because I've been, several different times. Okay, here's a good one for you. Years back, when Ed and Lorraine were still around and they were traveling, we were over in England and Scotland, and on the Hill of the Seven Angels, I had this experience in the chapel. I believe very strongly in the power of prayer, and I still use that. So, again, this this very piercing, weird sound. I went back out. My uncle looked at me, and I explained to him what had happened. And he just looked at me, and he went back in the little chapel with me. We were sitting there, and he goes, "That was angels." And I go, "Well, how do you know they were angels?" He goes, "Those were angels." And I went, "Okay, And he looked
Right.
up, all the statues and looked at St. Michael's. He says, "Always make sure you keep St. Michael by your side when you get involved with the darker stuff." And I've always stood by that. So again, something that is extremely important with this, that I believe they intervene when they need to. They intervene when you least expect it. Again, I look at that probably on the flip end of it, just like I do with the demonic, if you will. On the same type of scenario. How many times you'll hear about somebody being in a car accident and they think something, angelic, an angel or something, pulled them out of the car, or they believe that it might have been a deceased loved one that pulled them out of the car. Who's to say that wasn't something angelic that came through that was able to help them out? But if they think it was their mother or father that pulled them out, that's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I would never, ever, ever try to alter anything of that, because in my mind, I'm saying, again, could it be? Yes, it could very well be. And I believe very strongly our deceased loved ones can come back, and then they can go back to wherever they're at, whether it's up on the fluffy cloud, whatever.
Right.
And a lot of times when I say that to clergy friends of mine, they go, "John, we're not supposed to believe in that." I go, "Yeah, we're not supposed to believe in a lot of stuff." I said,
Right.
these things been happening for thousands of years, and you can't push it, underneath the rug. It's there.
Yeah.
So again, but I believe very, very, very strongly. Here's a good story for you, and I don't talk too often about it. Very, very good friend of mine. That got involved with the paranormal. He was a psychologist, and he has a pedigree a mile long. And he was up visiting, and we were going. He always looked at everything from a scientific approach with believing in stuff and everything. And we had gone up to a shrine, a very large shrine up here in Connecticut. We were walking around and everything, and he was very big into photography. And he goes, "I don't understand why you believe in the angels or anything like that." And he goes, "I've never had any experiences or anything." And I looked over at him and I went, "Well, why don't you take some pictures and let's see what happens? You never know." So
Right.
he just looked at me, because he used to say that to me all the time. He goes, "You're whacked with some of these things, but," he goes, "every time you say something like that, I follow you because you're usually 99%." All right. So, anyways, we were driving back, and he was reviewing the photos he took, and he caught a couple of multicolored spectrums, and it wasn't reflections because he, like I said, he was big into photography and everything, and again. Today he looked at it a lot differently, and he's very, very involved with our field behind the scenes, and very tied in with the church, working with it and doing a lot of the stuff. So again, it was like one of those moments, and I could still remember it when he was showing me the pictures. I busted out laughing, and because he was a photographer. And I go, well, maybe it's a reflection or something. He goes, oh, shut up, old man. Just shut up. And then he would go back and forth, and it was just comical because I would start laughing more. So, but it was something, again, when things like that happen from what most people refer to the angelic with the positive end, to me, that was verification for that young man because that made him move forward in what his journey was, what his path was to follow. So again, there's a lot of beautiful stories out there when dealing with the positive, and it's just that most people don't want to talk about it. You're talking about this stuff, and you talk about the angels, everything like that. People fall asleep. All of a sudden, oh, the person was possessed, huh? What? And that is what happens.
It
So
is.
this brings up a really good question. So demons can possess people, after
Yes.
infestation and whatever. Do
Mhm.
you think angels can possess humans?
Would possess be the
Okay.
right word?
Well, that's the only word I got for it. But
Yeah.
Well,
can
no. Okay, no, you're using the correct term because possession, people have to, again, when people channel, they're actually becoming possessed.
Yeah.
They're bringing spirit into them. So again, yes. Do I think it occurs often? I don't know. But do I think that could be a good possibility that angelic could possess a person or something of that nature? I can't say no. I can't say yes. I can't say no.
right.
But I can think of situations where, yeah, it could have very well happened.
Because
Yeah.
the belief is that what demons are fallen angels.
Well, they are. Okay. When we look at that, that's where it's important when we get into the demonology aspect of this work. It's very important to be very analytical and
Right.
study so many different things because we have what we refer to as jinn or jinn, which
Yep.
predates absolutely everything.
Right.
Again, they were here before anything occurred. Then we went into the deities, which a lot of the old cultures, practiced and, worshiping and everything like that. Then we came into organized religions and they adopted a lot of that in and mishmashed all of it together for creating, I hate to say this, but it's a controlled environment. It's what
Well,
yeah.
structure for sure. Yeah.
Structure for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I got to say that. I don't want the nun to smack my hands with the ruler again. So I better say that.
Do. But I mean, if you look at, so we in the study of demonology, you look at those because they're energy still, no matter what you want to call them, they're still energy. They're an energy. They would. And so when you think about, they go by many names, would that, and then the correlation to what they're associated with, the function could be based in Catholicism, but the different name could be Judaism or Muslim or, I can't say voodoo because they don't talk about that. So we might be talking about the same energy under a different name based on our practice.
Very true. And the best way to answer something from that perspective, we are legion.
Yeah.
Which is multiple.
Mm-hmm.
So again, tied in from so many different perspectives and looking at that, again, with that, okay, here's a good example for something for you that I love. My uncle used to Ed Warren would get very much involved with a lot of things within this supernatural realm.
Mhm.
Because again, the way they ended up portraying him, that he was this strict Roman Catholic, that's what he would use for his defense and, to help protect him. So again, but he was a demonologist, and he would get involved with all this and learned all that. I learned a lot of this stuff from him. So again, with all that, there's a lot of different things that intertwine in it. Now, we would be working on certain cases, not often, but certain ones, he would go, genie in the bottle, we're out of here. And I'd be like, what the hell is he talking about? But then he would go, we're not cutting no deals. And, again, now I understand all that now. What his way of looking at it and his philosophy of it. He knew exactly what was happening, knew what was occurring, but that was the way he dealt with it. Where today now we would go, okay, that would be, a gin case we're working on, and we need to bring someone in that does that, and they're prepared to handle that on what they need to do with all of it. So again, watching a lot of it and understanding that and bringing it now where all these things are intermingled. They're all intertwined, where I think you could be dealing with, something on a demonic level, or you could be dealing with something that, predates anything. So therefore, it's a wild thing to experience things. Are you guys familiar with Rosemary Ellen Guiley at all? You might be familiar with her work. She passed away a few years ago. A walking encyclopedia, and her and I were like brother and sister. Anyhow, when she was doing her book on the jinn, she had taken me to this one location that she was researching, and I had gone out into the yard with her, and she goes, "Are you experiencing this?" And I didn't understand. And she said, "Look over there." And there were these big 15-foot, like dark figure type things that were transparent. And I turned and looked at her, and I go, "Well, that's some energy coming up from the ground." She goes, "No, it's jinn." And I just got so taken back by it, and again, she was working with a couple of the scholars in the field. Anyhow, that was one of my major exposures to actually witnessing something that was jinn, but not to fear it, but like she said, you have to respect certain elements of our field, and which is very, very true. Yeah. Very, very true. And a lot of people don't do that. When they see certain people doing things or anything, they'll, freak out and, go crazy, where I don't, because I'm like, "Ooh, cool. What are you doing? Let me see what you're doing." How are you? Okay. And, explain some of the things. And I'm like, okay, I think that's why I was accepted into so many different things in our field, and I've been exposed to a lot of different things, because I'm not interested in going into, try and convert people. That's not even my interest whatsoever. It's to understand and learn some of that stuff. So,
and while we're on the subject of demonology and good and evil and whatnot, let's talk about the Dybbuk box.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so you just tell me what you think. What is the Dybbuk box? What's in it?
Because people who practice Judaism, this kind of stuff is they don't talk about it.
Okay, because all right, when we talk about the Dybbuk box, the original creation, if you will, comes from Judaism. They believed in putting things in there from a person and sealing it up, because you have to remember, in Judaism, they don't believe necessarily in devils and demons. No. But they believe that spirit could be very mean and nasty and ruthless. So they would put things in these boxes, seal the boxes up. And again, that was it. Boom, boom. All of a sudden it came up where the Dybbuk box was created to put devils and demons and all this
Right.
other shit in these boxes that
Yeah.
really it didn't come from the Judaism culture to that point.
Mhm.
Now, I have several Dybbuk boxes myself. I have 3 or 4 that I've never opened, and I'm not opening them. I'm just not. Then I have 3 or 4 that are opened that, I have one that's really pretty cool and original from this family I worked with. Now, these boxes were supposed to stay in their families. They were never supposed to leave the families. Cultures change. People move on. The kids, in Judaism, they don't want to keep their ancestral Dybbuk box. They don't want to keep that crap. Just like, a lot of people don't want to keep, the knickknacks from grandma and grandpa either. So, but again, it's the nature of it. And today the box is created, and therefore it does exist, and it is a real thing today.
Mhm.
So, from creating and bringing those things to life, if you will, the only way I could think to tell that to you is the Dybbuk box a real thing today? Yes. No, there's no doubt in my mind about that today.
And
Just
those are called what?
just like medicine bags and healing bags and, voodoo dolls and all that. I believe in all that stuff. I have a whole bunch of legit voodoo dolls, Again, these things are done with intent and purpose. So they exist. They do work. I wholeheartedly believe in that.
Mhm. Yeah. So we talked about haunted objects. Are you bringing any?
What are you? I'm sorry to interrupt
Yeah.
you. I just had this idea. I got to. What are you going to bring to the Paracon with you?
Yeah.
Would you like to share maybe an item or two that you're going to bring?
Well,
Everything else you just gonna have to pay and come see it, but we'll give you
Yeah.
later.
We could say one thing or something you're thinking about if you have.
Well, now that again, what I'm going to bring is this one Dybbuk box that was created by a Catholic person. Go figure. Go figure.
Oh,
okay, it's a small because I'm not going to be bringing any large items or anything with me because it's too much for traveling and things of that nature. But again, I do have that's sealed with wax. I've never broken that up. Has a little cross on it. But I looked at it, and the person that gave it to me, and they told me the stuff that they have, they put in it and everything like that. And I go, well, that's a Dybbuk box. I go, all right, now we have Christian Dybbuk boxes. Go figure. I don't
right.
But that'll be one thing that I'll bring with me. Yeah,
I'm excited about that. I've never seen a Dybbuk box in person. I just living. I live in the Appalachian Mountains, so Judaism's not very big around here.
No,
Catholicism and Protestants. So there's a lot of things. Like I've never been to New Orleans. I'm looking forward to going down there and getting.
Oh, you're gonna freaking love it.
You're gonna love it.
So excited.
And the Paracon is going to be, like John, you were saying, an opportunity to learn. Just because we'll say you're Roman Catholic or Baptist or whatever, you're going to have the opportunity. If you're going to listen, I'll never advocate for anyone to get into this field and be an investigator. It's one of the most dangerous hobbies you can have. But I'm never going to stop anybody either. Mm-hmm. So the best thing we can do is give you education and teach you proper techniques. So you're going to have the opportunity to ask people who practice voodoo about it and learn about it. People who practice a spiritual practice that is vampirism. It's not what you see on TV. And you're going to have an opportunity to learn. Brandon, you're going to be talking on the Native American panel. We're going to have some elders. When the heck do you ever get that opportunity? It's all about
I've never seen that at a Paracon. It's a native.
I'm going to show you these. He just triggered. I'm not going to bring these with me, but these came from New York. I was in New York City with Rosemary Ellen Guiley. She had a meeting with one of the very, very high practitioners with vampirism. Okay. And he had made me a set of teeth.
Oh, sweet.
Isn't that freaking cool?
John.
And
awesome.
Rosemary was doing her interview and everything, and he was, putting them in and everything like that. I'm looking at Rosemary, and Rosemary just, don't get nervous, don't get nervous. And I go, what are you inducting me into over here? But he just said, he goes, well, someday maybe we'll have you'll be a vampire. And I went, I don't think so. I said, but anyways, then finding out, and Rosemary was explaining to me who he was, and again, he made those. Cool. She goes, you should feel very honored. I said, well, Ro, I'm very, because I used to call her Ro. I said, Ro, I'm very honored, but I'm not wearing them, no. But I keep them, because again, it's just something cool. Look I keep them in my Dybbuk box.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever shown those to anybody, but you just made me think about it when you started talking about it.
It's a cool thing, and people need to learn about that stuff. I think it's hilarious. We have some fangsmiths that are going to be at Paracon, or you'll have an opportunity to get a few more if you want to. So, so if you don't mind, I do want to.
I think one pair is enough for me. Thank you.
Just one. You don't need some with like rhinestones or something, a little blingy or anything. A little bling bling. So I just want everyone to know Paracon packages start at $300 per couple.
Yeah, they do. And I was going to have all kind of cool pictures up and stuff, but they changed StreamYard on me.
I can share them. So it's $300 per couple. One of the things we wanted to do, so many Paracons have a charity that they donate to. We're going to have charities there that you can donate to. So then our next thought was, let's make it affordable for people to come. And then if they want to donate to some of the charities there, they can donate directly. And then they know their money goes right there. So I'm going to bring up, Brandon, you're going to, okay, share screen. I'm going to try to do the thing.
I'm going to try to do the thing. Wait a minute. Oh, hey, Tracy, I'm trying to figure out who Haunted Mama was. And I'm like, you sound familiar. So, hey,
Haunted Mama.
Hey, Tracy.
All right, I got it up there. Do you got me up there?
All right, let's pull this up here.
So that is our RIP package. It is $300 per couple, not per person. It's 2 people, a standard king or queen room Friday and Saturday nights, all your GA classes. You can add paid classes as you want. You can get access to the vendor area as well. So, and then you can kind of add on from there. There's the VIP package. I'm going to share that one real quick. But the
cool thing about the add-ons is, like, if you don't want to go to something, don't. But if you see something that you really want to go to, like John Zaffis speaking or whatever, and you see it's a paid class, you just pay for that class. You don't have to pay for like a list of crap you don't want.
Right.
And I like that.
There's afterpay available. So if you need to break out, if this is like your dream vacation, right? This is your dream paranormal thing, and you want to break out the payments, you can do that. So we have another package. That's the VIP. It's a little bit more, still per couple, not per person. Again, it's a junior suite. Then you upgraded your room. You get access to the Friday night VIP meet and greet with all the celebrities, which includes an open bar for 2 hours and all of the drinks. Please don't get too drunk. We don't want you falling off the balcony.
There's enough ghosts in the New Orleans area.
Listen, if you do that, you're expected to perform on the ghost hunts. I don't know.
Right.
You're gonna have we're also going to open the whole Paracon with a voodoo ceremony for the 15 minutes before that starts. You're also going to have a sneak peek for 45 minutes of the vendor area. So the vendors can meet everybody. The speakers can meet all the vendors, which never happens because you're always so busy, which is a good thing. You also get a celebrity ghost hunt at the Andrew Jackson Hotel. Our opinion, from New Orleans Paranormal Society, the most haunted per square foot place in the entire city. Prove me wrong, folks. Prove me wrong. It's crazy. So that's another package, and that's got some kid spirits. And then if you want to do everything, I would get that package. There's only 6 more left.
So you need to get them quick.
Yeah, we've sold more of these than anything.
while we're paying bills too, I see there's some comments about PTF. Yes, Paranormal Task Force is still around. It's Paranormal Task Force X. I am a member of PTFX. And I do want to say, check out paranormaltaskforce.com. We have some events coming up. We have limited tickets for sale. We got Pythian Castle coming up.
That'll be fun.
We've got the Kansas Aviation Museum coming up. We have an old Cowtown coming up. Julie's a member too. Like we're still kicking it. It's just, it has changed hands from Greg to KD Stafford. So there's just been some changes, but we're still out there. Please, if you guys want to come out and investigate with us, tickets are still available. And if you're looking for me for some strange reason, reach out to me and I'll let you know which ones I'll be at. So there, I had to pay that bill. Sorry.
There you go.
Jay?
Here's our last package. If you want to throw that up there, Brandon. This is our platinum package. There's only 6 left. I'm floored. So 2 people. This is per couple. Again, the meet and greet, the suite, open bar, VIP access, 2 nights of ghost hunts. On Saturday night, you get to choose between a Masonic cemetery and a voodoo house. Reserved seating for all classes, swag page, and we're also going to have a VIP.
This show is part of the Barracks Media Network, built by veterans, creators, and storytellers who believe stories change lives. Barracks Media produces podcasts, books, and digital content that amplify voices worth hearing. We help creators launch, grow, and monetize their message without losing their soul. If you've got a story in you, or a show in your head, go to barracksmedia.com and start building something that lasts.
VIP lounge. So if you've got that and you just want to take a break from people for a minute and you want to go sit in the lounge and recoup, there'll be a little place for you to do there as well. So those are all our packages. Again, we tried our best, all of those per couple, not per person. Just tried our best to make it a good learning environment and to make it affordable and approachable for as many people as we can. For sure. That's just been.
And with the talent that is there, and the price point that it's at, you're not going to find this lineup. You got Father Bob Bailey. You've got Dr. Father Kenneth Torres. You've got the Godfather himself, John Zaffis. You've got Lee Triana Terry Brown coming and teaching, and she teaches some amazing classes. You have Sam Baltrusis. You've got Patty Negri. And
you've got John's niece. We got Ron Iacovetti and Lourdes Gonzalez. They're going to be doing classes on their digital seance experience, which we were very fortunate to experience a few years ago when Ron was first working on it and he brought it here. So that technology on its own is groundbreaking in this.
Phenomenal.
And I'm glad you said technology, because that leads me to my next question. So we met a couple of years ago, and we ended up giving you one of our ITC devices, our ink box. And then, kind of went back and forth. So what do you, besides using yourself as an instrument, what technology have you bonded with and learned to integrate, if any?
The majority of the time, it's just using the app on the cell phone, the ghost box thing. Okay. I like the one that doesn't have all that, all the noise, because I can't deal with it. So that I put, do I believe everything and put 100% stock behind any of that type of stuff? You can't, but it's Ecovac, if I'm saying it correctly. I don't know. But it's the original. Yeah. Okay, it's the original version. I use that a lot of times because I get some good results from it. Now, I've been with, many people that use a lot of the different equipment. And that's like what Ron and Lourdes, I'm going to go back. We were at the Shanley Hotel, and it was in the beginning stages when he was developing some of this. And we were sitting there, and I'm intrigued by everything, and we had this woman that came through. There was like 7 or 8 of us sitting there. They're killing us. They're doing that. They're killing, talking in this foreign voice and everything. And if you're around me, you'd understand it. I'm just sitting there and I'm going, all right, nobody else is hearing this. What am I freaking cracking up? Nobody's reacting. Nobody's doing anything. And Ron, he'll sit there with such a, straightforward, not even reacting to nothing. So finally, I just turn and look. I go, please freaking tell me somebody else is hearing this effing shit. Right? And then 3 or 4 people popped up and they went, yes, we're hearing it. Dan Produce was there. And a few of the other people, Sandra, they were there and experiencing it and stuff. So, and it took me back because it was like, oh my God, we were picking up on the beginning of Ukraine when things were happening over in Ukraine.
Oh, wow.
I went freaking nuts because then I was just like, this can't be happening. And then Ron was explaining certain things. I'm like, no, but you got your old lady. She's screaming and yelling. Everybody's getting killed and everything. And we're all hearing it. Yeah, I was freaked out over that. I was so freaked out. Sam got freaked out also. And him and I, we had gone out and we were on the porch at that point in time. And again, it was just, I don't think I'll ever forget that. Again, that night when all that transpired and that happened. And I'm bringing it up because of his technology and what I feel when dealing with the both of them. They're so sincere and so passionate on what they do, and I think it's fantastic. So again, people will get to experience that down there, and it's going to be cool.
They will.
And I'd love to give a shout out to the Shanley Hotel. That's Stephanie Smith's area up there. I love Stephanie to death. If you guys want to go to Shanley, like I do, hadn't been there yet, but I'm coming, Steph. Reach out to Stephanie Smith. And speaking of Stephanie Smith, this leads me to my next question. In all your years of paranormal collecting, how many prosthetic legs have you found in closets?
I knew he was going to go
One. I still have it. I completely freaking forgot about that. I bust out laughing because a lot of times again, unfortunately, it looks like hoarders, with the exception of the downstairs part. The classroom, boxes are piled up to the seat. Anyways, and I'll pull something out every once in a while. I'll go, oh yeah, and I'll start telling the story, and somebody will look at me and they'll go, oh my God, what a story with that. And I go, yeah, and I'll throw it back on the pile. But it's just with that, but I completely forgot about that.
Oh, I brought it up to Brandon. I'm watching the episode. I'm like, please let it be haunted. Please let it be haunted. Please let it be haunted. And it's like,
yeah, we wanted the leg to be haunted. But...
No, there's something with that freaking leg.
Yes.
There is. I'm telling you, there was something with that. And but we were only allowed to use one item. We couldn't, if there was multiple, it would get too. Anyways. Yeah. But there was something. There was something with the leg.
Well, because I think that's the Henderson, Arkansas, because I saw that the flask, you have a flask and a ring that they found in the pool. That was one that I had watched recently, and I was like, Brandon, you got to ask about the leg, because it seemed like the leg was so glossed over. I'm like, there's something about that leg. There is something he didn't say about that leg.
Yeah, there again too. Some, believe it or not, and I don't know if it's tougher now than it was when we were doing it. A lot of items you had to be careful. You couldn't even put them on because of trademarking and copyright. And it would just get so crazy because then you'd have to deal with all the attorneys. And, the third season I got involved with, helping to produce. I was a producer in it and got to be involved with all the different meetings and things that go on with TV shows and everything. I finally started calling it the machine. Because seriously, all these parts have to fit together. You got to make sure everything's working. Sponsors aren't getting mad. Attorneys aren't getting mad. People aren't getting mad. It's unbelievable. Yeah. But, again, if people say, well, it's your show, you could do whatever you want. I'll go, do you work a job? Yes. Do you work 9 to 5? Yes. Do you have bosses? Yes. So did we.
Yeah.
So, and people don't understand that. They think because you're on TV, you can do whatever you want. Hell no. No.
I was honored to film for Monster Quest new season, and that's the first time I had ever done anything. And holy crap, that other side is a beast.
I'm not laughing at you. I just, as soon as you said that, I went, oh, he got exposed to all of it. Yeah,
oh my God.
Yeah, there's a lot. There is. And again, I'm sure it's probably even worse with paperwork now than it ever was before. I'm sure, because you got to be so careful with everything. So understandable.
Yeah, and I guess I'll shout that out. So my show was last Friday. It's season 5, episode 2 of the all new Monster Quest, and it's actually a story. You were talking about Jen earlier. So the story that I told was an interaction between me and a Jen that happened when I was in Iraq in 2003 for the invasion. So, and there's 2 Jen stories on that episode. One in the front, but I don't call mine a Jen because mine happened in Saddam's palace right next to the ancient city of Babylon. So I'm tying that into Babylon. But the last one is a great story about an encounter with Jen, and the guy's name's Blaine Rohan. He's really good friends with Letriana Brown and them. So check it out. Like, all the stories on there are amazing.
Actually, I remember that first story you told me about that.
Yeah.
As soon as you start talking about it, I'm going, I remember you telling me that now.
Yep.
Yes.
You were the first person outside my family I'd ever told that to.
And Brandon, you and I talked about doing a show coming up maybe later this year on veterans and gins, the frequency of
people have no idea.
No,
because again, that's part of. I think that's a fantastic idea that you do that. Some of the trauma between all the regular trauma, then dealing with all of that. Some of the stories that I've heard from some of these guys, I'm like, it's just unbelievable.
It's ancient, and the ancient tribes. Who knows who they or what they were dealing with 10, 20,000 years ago that they're still dealing with that we don't have over here in the West. And look, combat scared me, but I was trained for that. I was ready to die. But some of the paranormal encounters that I had over there was truly terrifying.
You know how many times I've heard that from? It's amazing. I was dealing with this one guy way up in the ranks, and they were going back and forth. And as him and I were talking, and what traumatized him more than anything is they had entered a holy area, and then they had gone underneath because it was this crazy thing. And he said it was like they disturbed this hornet's nest of jinn.
Yep.
And I'm listening. It was a captain or something. And he was explaining all of it to me. And he goes, but I felt I couldn't do anything. I couldn't protect them. I couldn't do anything. I was like, my God, how horrified he was over this whole thing. And he goes, you're not going to believe how many of them had to go into counseling just from experiencing some of this stuff. And I go, oh, yes, I would. I said, yes, I would.
Counselors are going to believe them.
Well, after I retired medically from the Marine Corps, I downward spiraled into alcoholism and depression and suicidal ideations and suicide attempts. I've got 3 suicide attempts. But once I heard a VA counselor mention a jinn attachments, that's when it kind of hit. And a lot of us came home. That's why we can't leave the war, because the war came home with us. But it wasn't the physical war. It was the paranormal part. because we were under spiritual warfare as well as physical warfare.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but it's a very true thing. And like I said, the amount of military people I've dealt with, I mean, right down from ground all the way up.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that captain, I think that story and the counseling sessions that we were involved with were so hardcore, because then it was to the point where he couldn't convince himself, were they dying at the hands of jinn? Were they? It was just, it was so mind blowing to hear and listen to what just him alone talk about what everybody had gone through. And he goes, John, the worst thing is what most of us were taught not to talk about all of it. We're told not to let all this out. And I go, let it out. You have to let that stuff out.
Yep.
So again,
until I started letting it out. Like now, luckily, I'm coming up on 5 years of sobriety. I mean, we're getting it.
Congratulations, bud.
Thank you. I'm going to tell you, that's the second hardest thing I've ever done besides war. And, but you don't know. And your mind play is my mind playing tricks on me. Is this
That's
really
the worst
me?
part.
Is this really me talking like shit to me? And, it's, unfortunately it is what it is, but, until I started talking about it, and if there's any veterans watching, look, ain't no shame if you was attacked or whatever, but until I started talking about it, I didn't start to heal. So, I mean, it's very important. And there's people out there that believe us. Look, this is the godfather of paranormal, and he believes. So if nobody else believes, he does.
I've shared this recently several times when speaking years ago. Had a bunch of military people show up here at the house. And again, I didn't know what the whole thing was about or anything. And they were all the different branches of the service, but they were in civilian clothes. But yes, sir. No, sir. Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? Right? Yeah.
Oh,
so it was all these questions, and they were filming it. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, what the hell is this all about? So we did it and everything like that. And then they got done and they're wrapping up. I said, are you going to explain to me what this is all about? And they go, we can't talk about it, sir. We can't talk about it.
Right.
So I'm like, you just dude, come on, that ain't fair. And he goes, I'm sorry, we can't. Then one of the other guys turned and just looked at me, nodded his head, and he winked. And I went, oh, I'll hear from him. But it had to be outside the. So, and I did, later on. Then I was talking to one of my other friends in upstate New York, and we were going back and forth. And I said, it's crazy with the military and everything like that, because she lived up near Fort Drum, and I had gotten involved with a couple of investigations. Anyways, So she goes, I got involved with this project that they did with this taping and everything. I go, what? I said, so did I. And we talked and we got into it. She goes, John, that was a training tape. I went, what? She goes, it was a training tape. And I'm talking years ago. Yep. So over the course of years, I had several people say, I swear I saw you in this tape when we were going through training. I think it was, I go, that was me. And they were going, do you know that there were certain, we would be trained to what to look for, what to watch for when it came into this stuff, because nobody knew exactly. I went, are you kidding me? And he goes, no. 100%. He goes, I'm serious. I went, okay. I said, well, that was an honor for me. That was a very high honor. I don't know if they still do it or not. I've never, over the past several years, I haven't heard anybody mention it. But
I know that it's pushed heavy in the SF community and the Black Ops community. I don't think I've ever seen you at a tape, but I'm going to make some phone calls and I'm going to see if I can't get that tape and we'll play it down in New Orleans.
We got to do it. I would
bust out laughing if they did, if you could get your hands on that. My good friend that I'm talking about is Stacy Jones. She was upstate New York and she was a cop. Do I need to tell you anything else? Anyway, she would kick ass and ask questions. But, again, she goes, as a matter of fact, I threw your name out there. I said, they never said anything. She goes, they're not gonna. And I was like, oh man. I said, but if that, because I had said that to a couple of my friends that were in the military, retired, higher ups. I said, I'd love to get I'm not, John, I'm not getting involved with that. I'm not, I said, I just like to see the tape. That's all.
Maybe you need to enlist and you'll get to see it.
Well, I'm trying to get onto Paris Island to investigate.
Oh man!
So I'll reach out to you, Johnny, because we've already investigated Fort Leavenworth. So, and we do that quite often. One of the guys that's with Paranormal Task Force is active Army, and he's stationed at Leavenworth, and he gets us in there a good bit. So I'll keep you posted on that one, because I can tell you from experience when I was in boot camp that the rifle range is haunted as hell.
Wow.
You would see recruits in the middle of the night doing fire watch, and there's nobody there. Like crazy.
Oh, it is freaking crazy. I remember there was this one time I went with my aunt and uncle. We were down south, and they had sent a car over to come pick up Ed and Lorraine to go onto this. Anyways, we went to the fort and everything, and there was this one house. Jesus, where all the soldiers sleep. Everybody sleeps in it. The dorm. Barracks. I'm sorry. It was shut down. They had to shut it down. It was so freaking haunted.
Yep.
Oh wow.
So I'm like, no freaking way, right? And Lorraine went in there and she did, she walked around and did everything. We had to sign off on that too. We could never talk about it. We could never disclose it. We couldn't bring nothing to the forefront. I'm like, I said that is such a good story. And again, too, I remember Lorraine just turned and looked at me. She says, well, dear, she says, as long as we were able to help and they were able to make a few decisions, she goes, that's what counts more than anything. Yeah. I was like, well, all right, you're right. I said, but man, that'd still be good to have that.
Right.
Again, stories like that, people never hear about that. I mean, again, behind the scenes, and is all she kept saying was, as long as we're able to help a few people out. Then she went to go talk to a couple of them that were in that building, and they were moved into other buildings to help them out. Mm-hmm. None of that ever went public. Nothing ever got talked about. But again, good story.
Fort Bragg shuts down the World War II. Well, I don't know if they're still there, but when I was going through jump school, we stayed in the World War II barracks, and they ended up having to shut them down because of hauntings and poltergeist activity. Which kind of makes sense. But, so
no
it happens a lot on bases.
People don't realize that forts and bases, and man, oh man, there's a lot that goes on. A lot.
So
I don't know many. Go ahead, Jan. Sorry.
In all of your years of the things, I know you said that you had to take breaks. This is something I think a lot of people don't hear about. Have you ever experienced what I call the paranormal hangover?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
Meaning
feeling the next day like you got the absolute dog crap kicked out of you, feeling like
oh yeah
like symptoms. Do you get like food cravings? I get broth cravings after.
No, it's more again, I think Lord just said it too. It's more of an emotional thing.
Yeah.
And things will bother me.
Yeah.
And it will ramp up. And that's when I know I have to take that step back a lot of times, especially if I do a lot, not so much these days, but when I would get involved with 2 or 3 or 4 really negative cases, that would really wipe me. And would really affect me a lot of times. Where, like he was saying, am I hearing shit in my head? Is this stuff happening? Because a lot of times you don't know, so you got to take that step back. Because again, energy is energy, and that's how it affects people, especially when they get involved with it. So yeah, that's a good way to look at it, as being a hangover. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't realize that you're gonna feel bad. We've had a few people that have provoked before we could get to them and say, stop that, not the spirit to do that one too, that they've thrown up or felt like they've been choked, or we've just said, you messed up, they're not done with you. Do that. But I mean, I've even had it happen. So it's something that I don't think is talked about a lot in the industry, because part of and what's your take on this? One of the best qualities you can develop as a paranormal investigator is your self-awareness.
Yes.
What's me, what isn't me?
Now, here's the biggest problem, especially with guys. Guys aren't going to want to admit to that shit.
Mm-mm.
Again,
Right.
and that's our it's the way we're programmed. Now today it's a lot different. You know what I mean? We talk, we're more open, and we're able to do that. And again, we're in a different environment where years ago you didn't talk about that. No, that didn't happen. Nothing occurred. Blah 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 blah. Where today now, I have no qualms whatsoever saying, did I get the shit scared out of me? Yes, I did. So again, I got scared. Did I run out screaming or something? Probably some, different points at times. There's been times where I went, whoa, I'm out of here. Yeah, now I will.
Yeah.
So again, I think it's important to talk about that because that's part of the clearing and healing process to bring all that stuff out to the forefront. And you know what? I don't worry about what people think. Because I lived it. I went through it. I know what happened. You don't believe it? Oh, well.
Yeah.
Again, that's how I look at a lot of things now. I don't have an interest in proving or disproving different things. I just don't anymore. Just don't. And again, a lot of the stuff I can't prove. So.
Well, but a lot of people who believe in the paranormal have had a personal experience, and that's part of it. It's something you've seen that, I looked for this to debunk this, or this was not a part of the conditions, where someone else could look at a video or a photo of you and say, oh, well, you're an idiot because it's this, but you weren't there. You don't know.
Well, I think even more so today, again, you just got you have to, I don't know, I'm trying to explain this without, everything can get debunked. There isn't anything that can't get debunked. I don't care what it is. Jesus Christ can come down and you can film him and people will debunk it. That wasn't really a good example, was it? But anyway,
I get it. I get it.
No, but you're never going to have a piece of evidence that everybody's going to agree that's all paranormal, that that someone isn't going to say, oh, it's not that, it's this.
Yeah. I mean, more so today, you go through that than we ever did. Don't get me wrong. There's things from the past that we have out there that have been debunked. And I'll sit back and go, son of a gun, you're right. Okay. If you're right, then it needs to be corrected. And I don't have a problem with that. But there's so much that happens with the parent. That's why I always say the supernatural is the supernatural. We can't prove, we can't disprove. But if you lived it, you went through it, no one's going to change that. Yeah, that is you. And again, I always tell people too, I had the worst experience and I got thrown across the room. I got bitten up and all this happened. Well, when did I think it happened. No, you remember the day, the time, the month. You remember everything. If you had a legit experience, you don't forget any of that. You just don't.
You don't.
Yes.
You don't.
I mean, I can tell you the exact time when I was in Saddam Hussein's basement when my thing happened. I mean, I know because I've thought I felt helpless before. I was homeless when I got out and did the whole 9 yards. I was never as helpless as I was when I came face to face with the jinn. And you remember because it changes your soul.
Yeah.
Yes. Once, my uncle used to say this all the time, and again, one of those things that once you've been touched by the supernatural, it'll never go away.
Yep.
Never. And I used to look at him and go, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. But he's right. once you've experienced something, once you've had those encounters with something positive, negative, it doesn't matter on the supernatural level. Your life, it alters you, it changes you. And he was right.
Yeah.
He was very, very right about a lot of that. And again, I used to, because I was a little punky kid. I'm not going to tell you I wasn't. And a lot of it, I look back on it, I can understand it. I just didn't understand a lot of times the way he would try to explain things.
Right.
So it was an interesting curve to understand it later on what so much of it meant. Because again, somebody will say, here's a good example. A good friend of mine, he got out of the paranormal. We worked together with Ed and Lorraine, blah, 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 blah. He came up. He'd been out of it for like 15 years. He came up to visit. He's sitting here in my office with me. Boom, 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 coming up the stairs from down below. A whole bunch of noise got made. It sounded like a door slammed. I was on the phone talking to somebody. Well, I had to turn and look this way so I didn't bust out laughing, right? So I got done with the phone call and everything, and I looked over at him, and I went, what? He goes, you didn't hear that? And I go, yeah. He goes, you're freaking numb to everything now. He goes, I can't believe it. I go, well, what are you going to do? Walked up the stairs and touching the boxes? What do you want me to freaking do?
Right. Right.
And he goes, I can't believe you're so numb to everything. I said, you get numb to this stuff. You just do.
You look at it like a doctor in an ER. It's
the only way to look at it.
You get in a situation that's, I mean, people ask us about when's the first time you met a demon? Oh, by accident, because I made a lot of stupid decisions as my being a new paranormal investigator, and I went in a case and I didn't do my research and we didn't think it could be what it was. And I have a burn mark on my arm that will never go away from that energy. You will never, but you do. They're like, were you scared? I'm like, you know what? In the moment, you can't.
I don't even think about it in the moment.
You got to just do.
Yes.
Yep.
See that? My uncle always said that was a saving thing for being a researcher. Because he used to say that to me all the time. He goes, you don't react. He goes, you don't, he goes, you do what you need to be doing. Mm-hmm. And then he goes, 2 or 3 days later, you'll pick up the phone and call me up and go, I can't freaking believe we just went through all that. And he goes,
You cry later. You cry later.
once I sit back and I start poking through it and thinking about it and dissecting it, I'll go, oh man, but that's, I'm the same way, do the same thing. The other thing too is, again, when a person is being delivered or an exorcism is being performed, I don't do them. I assist in helping with them. And there was Bishop McKenna, he passed away now, but I worked a tremendous amount with him. And I curse like a sailor. I don't care who you are or who's around. I don't.
Same.
It was one time, I laugh about it now. There was one time Bishop turned and looked at me. He went, John? I went, yeah, Bish, because I used to call him Bish. He goes, is there something wrong? And I go, why? What's wrong? What's wrong? He goes, there's no profanity coming out of you. Do I need to pray over you? Ever since then, I busted out laughing. And I went, oh, man. I go,
I love it.
But he paid me a very good compliment on top of that, too. And he goes, you're just like your uncle, because your uncle swears at everything, too. So,
yeah. So, all right. You told us you cuss like a sailor, right? So we've got some questions that are just off the paranormal. Are you ready?
Yeah, this is the fun, stupid part of the show.
Okay, Tom, I'm ready.
What's this? Okay, so we'll start with an easy one. Brandon, I know you have yours. If you could be a flavor of ice cream, what would it be and why?
Chocolate, because I love chocolate ice cream.
Chocolate. All right. Just plain chocolate, or were there like
plain chocolate?
Just
I love plain chocolate ice cream.
Awesome. Okay. Brandon.
All right. We're gonna ramp it up a notch.
Okay.
So
I started off with the easy one.
For 24 hours, you have to be chased by an animal. And after 24 hours, if you survive, you get $10 million. But the animal is indestructible. Which animal are you running from?
First thing that popped into mind was a gorilla.
Oh,
Holy shit. Okay. All
you
right.
just go big.
Go big or go
Gorilla.
home. I'm good. I'm good with it.
I like it. I like it. All right. So, on the subject of animals, if you were going to be portrayed in an animated feature as an animal, what would it be?
I want to be a dog.
You were going to say puppy, weren't you?
Puppy. I was gonna say puppy.
Like
What
golden
breed?
retriever,
Huh?
like golden.
Oh, probably a terrier or a Shih Tzu. That's what we ended. When you get older, you get the smaller dogs. When I was young, I always had shepherds and everything, you know. But now we just have the little rugrats now.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Brandon, you got yours.
Okay. I got one. No, I don't. I lost it. I had one and then I just lost it. I try to make these up on the spot to keep them fresh. So sometimes I hit and sometimes I miss. So Jennifer, go ahead and I'll keep thinking.
Okay, what's your what's your life's theme song? If you could have a theme song playing in the background every time you appeared somewhere, no copyrights. What's the song?
Did it my way.
Oh, I love Sinatra.
You know that's funny.
But it's tough with me because I love Elvis and I love Sinatra.
Yeah.
Okay, you'll love this real quick story for you. We got stranded in the airport, Dustin Perry and myself. So Dustin rented a car and we were driving. It took us 17 hours to get there. All he would play off of his phone that was hooked through the system was Elvis Presley and Frank Sinatra. After 17 hours, we got out of the car. And I stood there and screamed. I said, if I ever hear another Elvis Presley or a Frank Sinatra song, I'll kill somebody. And everybody fell out laughing. But again, no, it would be, that would be it.
Oh, I love good Sinatra.
Okay, and I'm going to do the one more funny question, and then I'm going to ask you a question to take us out on. So, what actor would play you in your biographical movie? You could pick anybody, living or dead.
That would be Keanu Reeves.
I love that pick.
Good one.
Do you know I love that movie. I can't wait for number 2 to finally come out. They said he agreed to finally do it. But when I first watched that movie and everything, I just sat there and went, man, this freaking character is an awful lot like me.
Really?
Awful. Yeah. And it was just watching him and everything, because I used to smoke and, I quit. But again, it's just watching some of the things he would do and the batshit crazy stuff he would do. That was like me, because a lot of times my uncle would yell at me, "You're out of your freaking mind." And don't do stuff like that. Again, I always thought that would have been a good person.
That's perfect.
What a great pick. If you ever meet him, my friend who still live in our little apartment complex worked on movies with him, and his nickname is Kiki.
Is it?
Yeah, you should say, "Hey, what's up, Kiki?"
I will. What I do know about him is from a mutual friend that was good friends with somebody with him. He's a very down to earth person.
Yep.
There's no frills and chills about that guy. Nothing. He don't even live like he just lives like the rest of us. And but I always thought I don't know. I thought he'd make a good Johnny Zaffis character. I
think so. I love it.
And for the viewers, what movie are you talking about?
Constantine.
Yep.
Yeah.
The movie Constantine. If you haven't watched it, I freaking love that movie. I love it.
Yep.
Love it.
Okay.
Very
now
not his normal character.
We'll go a little bit deeper. Of all the knowledge that you have gained in all of your decades of paranormal investigating, what is the one piece of advice you would give to somebody who is brand new starting out in the paranormal?
To pay attention to your surroundings. Stop worrying about getting a freaking TV show, because they're all dead in the water now anyways. Again, the key factor with our work today is so much of getting into the trenches is gone. People feel they don't need to get in there. They can watch the TV shows or do this or do that and not get involved with it and end up getting themselves involved with major, situations.
Right.
And today, again, we're in a different world. These people get themselves involved with a lot of legal problems. I've dealt with so many different researchers and they go, well, we didn't know. I go, again, because you're not taking the time to learn. You have to learn your basic fundamentals. You're walking into a person's home. Think about what you're doing. They don't know you. You don't know them.
Right.
So again, people today, there's a lot of that is gone. A lot the basics 101 aren't there anymore. So
no, they're not.
You can't fix it. There's no way to fix it now because it's like a train out of control.
Yep.
Again,
reason for the Paracon. This is where we dial you. This is where we dial you back in, right? This is where we say you have fundamentals. Here are the fundamentals. You don't know where to get them. Here's where to get them. Listen.
You got it.
Listen to what we are saying. This is why you came here.
And so the final question that's going to take us out, and I'll just say it in its basic form, and then I'll expand real quick. The question is, are you happy? And let me expand. See, of all the negativity and all of the crap and the drama that you have dealt with and are dealing with and may deal with in the future, how do you stay truly happy?
My life has always been totally separated from the supernatural and the paranormal. I know I've been, gifted probably one of the most coolest lives you could ever get involved with. My wife and I have been together for, it's before Jesus Christ was around. Got 3 kids, 3 grandkids. My success didn't necessarily come from just being in the paranormal field. I worked in the pharmaceutical field for 30 plus years till everything downsized. And I feel very blessed. I feel very good within my skin, within my life. But that took a lot of building. That took a lot. I was no different when I was younger than everybody else. When Haunted Collector first came out, and I would start reading some of the things people would post, we were on a bus. And everybody kept saying, don't read these things, don't read these things. And I'm like, what do you mean, right? So I started reading some of these blogs and things. I mean, just ripping everybody apart on the show. I was a major thief. I was stealing grandma's jewelry. I mean, and I'm sitting there and reading all this, and it was a bus with the whole production company and everybody. And you have to know me well enough to know I'm like, this mother effer who don't even freaking know us, this talking about my kids, talking about Cano, talking about Jen. Who you a frick you are? You don't know. I want to post. They go, you can't post, John. You can't go back. You can't.
Yeah,
that killed me more than it. But again, with all of that and watching it and seeing it, watching what Ed and Lorraine went through right from what they all went through the years before The Conjuring and everything else, it helps to form you and helps you to understand some of the stuff. Because somebody could walk up to me, and people do that, and say all kinds of mean and rotten things, and I go, well, that's your opinion. And I could walk away.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I've accomplished. I've known what I've done. Screwed up in my life just like everybody else. I'm no different. I don't walk on water, never did. So again, I'm very, very, very comfortable with my life. I did it my way.
Back to the song. I love it. I love
that. I like that. And that's, there's so many nuggets of wisdom in what you just said. I hope people take that to heart, because the biggest thing to me, well, as a shaman and a paranormal investigator, is if you can't be happy in what you're doing, then you're going to destroy yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people do.
Yeah, like if you're in this to, like Johnny said, to get a TV show or to be famous or to whatever, you're in it for the wrong reasons, and eventually the paranormal is going to let you know that you're wrong.
It will destroy you. It will
100.
destroy you.
Yep.
And that's the other thing that I try to get people to understand. You're not going to become a multimillionaire off of this stuff either. It's just, there's only one person I know that became very, very rich and famous, and that's Zach. I mean, but again, the man is brilliant for business-wise behind the scenes. He knew what to do, how to do it. Yep. And, again, you can't take that away from the man. So, again, like I said, I know that, and I respect it, that I know I had a very, gifted type life. I know that. I know a lot of husbands and wives, they don't get along because one of them's in the paranormal and the other one doesn't want to do it, don't want them going away. And, there's all kinds of issues. And, I'm a very, very grateful person at this stage of my life at where I ended up. Yeah. So I can't complain, or, I never thought I'd ever see the day where my wife and I just sit on the couch, or she'll be sitting in her recliner and we'll just talk about the crazies. She never got involved with the paranormal. She always stayed out of it. She didn't want any part of it. But she asks me more questions now than she ever did. We'll be sitting there watching something, and I'll just look at her and I'll go, "Well, how do you even know that?" She goes, "Well, I used to pay attention to some of it that you were getting involved with." And, and I'll just bust out laughing, when she'll ask some of the questions. Then when she'll ask me anything about the darker stuff like that, I'll look at her and I'll go, "You don't want to hear it?" She'll go, "Nope. I don't want to even hear about it. I don't even want to know about that stuff." So.
Well, thank you so
much. I did it my way.
So funny story about that song. It's already in my living will, and I've told my wife, when I pass away, that's my death song, is "I Did It My Way" by Frank Sinatra. So, great. Thank you so much for, normally this show is an hour, and obviously we have gone 2 because this has been an amazing interview.
Thank you for taking all that time with us.
You're very, very welcome. I enjoyed it. It was great. I cannot wait for the convention. We're going to have a blast.
Yeah, we are.
We'll be hanging out down there, running around, seeing what's going on and everything. And it isn't spring break, is it?
No.
Good thing. Woo! Oh my gosh, I can see a whole bunch of people just all everywhere partying.
Rocking.
All right, guys, have a good night. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys shortly.
Yes,
Take care.
Have a good evening. Yes, sir. Bye-bye. Y'all, that was a wonderful show. Let me pull him back into the back.
It was such a great show, and I appreciate him taking so much time. We said, could you do 15, 30 minutes extra? It's like 2 hours. So
yeah. So but it was a good show, and I think we asked questions that I haven't heard asked before. So
I think we did.
I learned some stuff.
I don't think he would have stayed if we were. You know what I mean?
No, he would have probably said, "Go fuck yourself." I saved it for the end. I dropped the F-bomb.
You did.
Y'all, thank you so much for watching Radio Paranormal. I still haven't figured out how to do the endings or any of our intros or outros. So what I'm going to do is what else do we have? We got 2 minutes left.
We do. You know what? I can play if I can find a. What is this one? Here we go.
I'll have to find it and re-download it. But...
Wait. Okay. We can share screen about the lineup of our guests coming up.
Yeah. Let's do that. Once you share screen, I'll pull that up. Because it really is an amazing, amazing lineup, especially to learn.
And it's got
from and so we're mainly going to be spending time on our guests that will be at the Paracon. So you'll get to know a little bit about them, and I'm, maybe a little bit about who they are, what they do outside of what you have seen. And that way you know that they're just like you and me, and you don't have to like fanboy or fangirl. Just walk up to them. And if you have a question, ask. If you need to know something, ask.
Yeah.
Back up.
All right. Tell me when. All right, good. Here we go.
And go. Look at all this.